If you're still struggling with support and resistance, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to draw support and resistance, what time frames to draw support and resistance on, and more importantly, how to trade it. Now, let's get into it. Jumping onto a weekly time frame, I do start on the higher time frames. The reason being, these time frames are more respected than what the 5 minute and the 15 minute are. They're less prone to breakouts, and the zones are a lot more solid. Now, how do we find support and resistance zones? We are on the Solana USD chart right now. Support and resistance zones are where prices had a reasonable bounce. So I would say this is here, this is another bounce, this is another bounce, and then you've got here, 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 here. So essentially you can see where all the bounces are. Once you locate the bounces, you need about 2 or 3 to make it a valid zone. What you want to do is you want to take the rectangle tool. You don't want to use a line, you want to use rectangles. You want to use a zone. The reason being is you want to encapsulate as much price action as possible. That includes the wicks and the candle bodies. So as you can see here, from the 24th of March to the 23rd of June, this has been a very, very, very strong support level here for Solana. Now, when you are looking back, rule of thumb, you want to look at roughly 6 to 12 months of price action to base your zones off. In this case, we're able to go a little bit further because it has been bouncing off this zone over and over and over again. We do have a little bit of a breakdown, but it reclaims the zone very, very quickly. Same with resistance. We can say this is resistance, but majority of the price action has been here. Now, when you're drawing your zones, it doesn't matter how big they are, as long as you encapsulate enough data. So here we're capturing majority of the price action. When you draw your zones, you don't want them to be this big, but then you also don't want them to be very, very small. You just want to capture enough price action, which is usually the wicks and the candle bodies. And the time frame on the weekly will always indicate where you should put them. As you can see, before this became support, it was resistance, support, broke through as resistance, came back, tested as support, moved up again, broke down, then bounced off, and so forth. So this is still a very, very valid zone. As you can see here, this interim zone here has a bounce, another bounce, then a bounce. Yeah. An important aspect is not to put too many zones on the chart, because if you have a lot of zones on the chart, you will fall victim to analysis paralysis. So you won't have any confidence. You'll say, oh, well, what if this is support, or what if support's down here, and what if this level breaks, and then maybe I should support here, or maybe I should long here, or should long there, or I should wait for this zone back here. And then you never end up entering a zone because you just put way too many zones on there. Now, once you've drawn out your zones on the weekly, what you can do, or what I like to do, I like to jump down into the daily chart. Now, I like the daily chart for refining my zones and seeing where most of the price action happened. You sometimes don't have to adjust them, where right here, as you can see, good price action here moved away, good price action here, and then moved away. But if you're needing to end the zone just to capsulate a little bit more price action, then you can do that. And then that way you can refine all of your zones based off the weekly. As you can see here, it came down, bounced in the zone, bounced down. You had a nice rejection here and it pushed back up again. Nice bounce and so forth. Solana is charging right now. Wow. A common misconception is a lot of traders and a lot of online information will tell you to trade support and resistance. You need to buy support, sell resistance. In context, absolutely. This is absolutely correct. On the chart here for Solana, absolutely. As you can see, making equal lows and it's making equal highs. So it's technically what we call a range. In a range, you can absolutely use support and resistance to buy low and sell high, or buy support, sell resistance, and so forth. What do you do when it's a trending market? as you can see here, we now have low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and now a higher high. Now that the market is moving up, buying support and selling resistance isn't going to work because as you can see here, price price action is evolving. So when it does come to trending markets, you want to trade with the trend. So if it's in an uptrend, you want to buy support and you want to get out of your positions at resistance. Wait for the next pullback and buy at support again. So as you can see here, call this a support. So we bounced up, came back down, bounced up, broke through, came back as support. We still are waiting for a retracement. This candle is looking very, very, very strong at the moment. Price is up here. And that's the thing. So it's just moving with the market because as you can see here, if you were to support, look how strong this move up is, and then it gets pushed back down again, and the retracements are getting shallower and shallower. And since the 4th of August, it hasn't really had that much of a retracement. It's moving up very, very strong without an actual retracement. So you just need to wait for a pullback now to the next support level, which is roughly going to be right here. Now, what classes a break of support or a break of resistance? As you can see here, we have the resistance zone. This is not a break. Price is pushed up and sellers have pushed the price back down and it closed at resistance and then moved back down again. Here, price has moved through. We want price to close above the resistance zone or the support zone, depending on where the market's going. You need a strong, solid close. On the weekly or the daily are both good indicators of a strong close. You need price to close and then have a retracement back to that now support zone, which was once. Once you do that, then you're primed to trade the move. Now, how do we trade support and resistance? That is the question. So, like I just went through, buy support, sell resistance. But how does it allow us to manage risk? Now, if we were looking at trading, this is now resistance and it's come back as support. What we would do is we wait for price to come back, close, and then come back down. You set your alert here, jump down into the daily chart, you have a look, you see price is now bouncing and rejecting. Once price bounces and rejects, that's when I will look to enter in a long position, allowing me to put my stop loss below the swing low, and that way I can target the swing high. Now, when you do have your resistance zone in as well, you do use this as a target. So right now, this zone here is resistance. So what I would usually do, I would just place my take profit just before there. Make it easy. Don't put a trade on and then have your targets way up here, which is, not unachievable, but, make it realistic. So set your take profit just before the next resistance zone and then vice versa. If you're shorting the market, set your take profit just before the next resistance zone. So this was resistance here, it bounced. So then that way you can put your stop loss above the wick and then you can still claim a nice 2-to-1. Make it easy. You don't want to be going for these crazy targets that no one's going to get. Now there's different forms of support and resistance. This one is zones. You do also have trend lines. You do also have EMAs, which is more of a dynamic support and resistance. There are many forms. I find that the zones work the best. Based off historical data, 80% of the time, markets do return to these zones. The reason being, it's a psychological level. People see these zones, institutions see these zones, and people are looking to enter at these positions. And if you also want to talk into a little bit more psychology, a lot of people are looking at round numbers. So if you're looking at 180, 200, 250, a lot of people are also looking at these round numbers for a psychological aspect. Now, if for some reason you still aren't sure what levels you should be drawing, there is an indicator called the pivot points high and low indicator. Now, putting this indicator on your chart, what it will do, it will give you the highs and lows, the swing points. So basically, it's just confluence on how well you've drawn your zones. Now, draw your zones first, and then use this indicator afterwards. Now, we map out this zone, and price was here down the bottom. Price up a little bit extended, but for now. Now, if we turn off that indicator, it's pretty spot on. I think it's pretty spot on. It's matched the highs and the lows. So if you are struggling, you can use that indicator just to give yourself a little bit of an extra help, but keep it simple. When you're trading support and resistance, it shouldn't be hard. You shouldn't need to second guess your zones, right? So if you had someone who's never traded before, never even looked at a chart, if you sat them down and said, find me support and resistance, they should be able to find it. Now, it's important to keep things simple and just manage risk accordingly. So if this video has helped, please hit like, drop any question you have in the comments, smash subscribe if you want to, but I'll see you on the next one.